Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So, are you able to see my screen? Can somebody confirm if
Yes,
you're able
yes,
to see my
yes,
screen so
Prabhu.
that we can
Yes,
finish the
yes,
presentation?
Prabhuji. We can see.
Okay. So, thank you all the devotees for joining, and we'll be finishing the presentation what we have started yesterday. So, before we start, let's invoke the blessing of the Lord. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namah Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Bhayevucha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Ishvara Parama Krishnaha Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govindaha सर्व कारण कारणम. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त विंद. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, I pay my humble obeisances to your lotus feet. So this is the presentation what we have started, Door for Liberation, the dialogue between Devahuti and his son Kapil Dev, who Sakshat Narayana. So far, what we have covered. So we covered that, we talked about that how the Bhavukta and Prem are different. Bhavukta is not Prem, Prem is different. And emotion is not devotion. There is a difference between emotional tears and devotional tears. And we talked about how Kardam Muni has married Devhuti, and before marriage, he did tapasya for 10,000 years. And why did he tapasya? So that his married life will be peaceful. And we talked about that nowadays, before marriage, nobody do the tapasya. Rather, we do the bhoga. We do first shopping for the marriage, but we don't do any tapasya for happy married life. But Kardamuni did that. And he saw Lord Vishnu face to face. His tapasya was so potent that even Lord Vishnu, he made Lord Vishnu to shed tears in his appreciation. So when, and he promised that I will come as your son, Lord Narayana promised. And then Lord Narayana came as Kapil Dev. And then after that, Kardamuni went to the forest, because he promised that as soon as you'll have one son, I will go to the forest. When Kapil Dev grown up, he was sitting under the tree, and Devahuti, Mother Devahuti, was worried that my husband went to the forest, now my son is sitting under the tree. And in that worriness, she came to Kapil Dev and asked this question. Nirvinna nitaram bhumana satindre tarshanat. Yena sambhava manina prapanna tama prabhu. That I'm gradually dwelling towards the hell, because I keep satisfying the senses again and again every day, and they are still not satisfied. So she was lamenting. Then we talked about that Kapil Dev, that's why Vyasadeva has used the word Shri Bhagavan Vacha. He has not used the word Shri Kapil Dev Vacha. He used Shri Bhagavan Vacha, because Kapil Dev was none other than Lord Narayana, Lord Krishna. And he told that the yoga system, he talked about the yoga system, uh, he, not the new one, not the newly manufactured one, but the ancient yoga system, which several thousand years before sages already practiced. So that problem of sense control was not only now. Sense control problem was there everywhere in all yugas. And this ancient system was applicable in all the yugas. But people sometimes say na, that these scriptures are old school scripture. No, these are valid. 5,000 years before sun was rises in the east, now also rises in the east. So Kapil Dev was telling the same ancient system that which is beneficial, ultimate beneficiary for living entity. And it can cause detachment from both happiness and distress. Because in this material world, both are bad. Although we look for happiness and we don't want distress, but actually happiness is also bad here. And then he was telling that we should learn the art of dying, not art of living. Because anybody who knows the art of dying, he will live his life in such a way that art of living already automatically comes. He will not waste his time. He will understand the value of time and also understand the value of this human body, because only in this human body all this what Kapil Dev is telling is will be helpful. These scriptures are not written for the animals. These are scripture written for human beings only in human body. That's why Krishna, when he made this human body, he said Manusha Mama Priya, that this body is very dear to me because I have given the facility. In this body, utilizing this temporary body, he can achieve permanent. So then he talked about that if consciousness get attracted towards three modes of material nature, right, then it binds us. If we remain confined ourselves within three modes of material nature, but if we raise our consciousness towards the supreme personality of Godhead, then we can achieve liberation. Then he talked about that aham mama abhiman utthai, this I and my designation to come out of that, because it causes impurities like lust and greed. And he was telling that unless we come out of this designation I and mine, because we are not this body, we are spirit soul, there is no question of transcending the happiness and distress of this world. We remain hanker, we remain keep doing the lamentation. Whatever we have not get, we will lament. We don't have, we will keep hankering. We will not become Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. Then he talked about that once you come out of I and my, then you can see that you don't belong to this material world. You will realize that you belong to spiritual world. You are spiritual, and that's why any spiritual activity we do, we chant Krishna's name, we talked about Krishna, we take Krishna Prasadam, right? It pleases your heart. Nothing else will please your heart, actually. Even whatever kind of material success we get, temporary you may feel elevated or elated, but again you will become sad. That's why, poor people are unhappy. I can understand why the filthy rich men are unhappy, right? So unless we come out of this I and my designation, right, it is very difficult, or it is impossible to realize that you are spirit soul. So this is what we covered. Now, from today, we are continuing this. ज्ञान वैराग्य युक्तेन भक्ति युक्तेन चात्मना परिपश्यति उदासीनं प्रकृतिं चाहत ओजसम. In that position of self-realization, by practice of knowledge and renunciation in devotional service, one sees everything in the right perspective. He becomes indifferent to the material existence, and material influence acts less powerfully upon him. See, Anitya Sambandh Bodh Jana, right? That whatever Anitya Sambandh we have here, relationship, right? We are always confine ourselves towards that. We think that he's my relative. So many relatives I have. But we forget that the ultimate relative is actually Krishna. He's sitting in our heart, who accompany us not only this birth, any place, any circumstances, but for millions of birth, from the day we left the spiritual world, he accompanied us. He witnessed all our activities. He knows our nature. If you go to the AMC theater and ask Krishna, show my life, he will show all the life on 70 screen. He will show. He knows what we did in last birth, what mistake we did, and why we could not complete our sadhana. And that's why we have to come again. So here is Kapil Dev is saying, Jnana Vairagya Yuktena, Bhakti Yuktena Chatmana. Now people says that Gyan aane se Vairagya aata hai. That once you have become knowledgeable, then the Vairagya, the renunciation will come. No, that is wrong. If just by become knowledgeable, you can renounce, then on the cigarette packet, it is written injurious to health. So everybody has the gyan that is injurious to health, but they still smoke. Even after reading that warning on the cigarette packet, they still smoke. Even doctors smoke. So gyan to hai, then why vairagya is not coming? No, just by getting knowledge, you cannot renounce. You cannot develop detachment. So here Kapil Dev is saying that bhakti yuktena, until you become bhakti yuktena. So bhakti is the mother, and bhakti mother has two sons, Gyan and Vairagya, knowledge and renunciation. Once we do bhakti, once we engage ourselves in Krishna service, Krishna bhakti, then automatically the Gyan and Vairagya will manifest. See, all of us came to Krishna conscious, right? After that, they say, leave tea, coffee, no intoxication, right? So, unless we engage in service of Krishna, we cannot leave that, especially tea and coffee, right? If I tell this in summer, that many of us will agree that, yeah, tea and coffee is not good. But what about winter? When winter comes, it's very difficult to digest the point that tea, coffee is not good. But still, so many devotees left tea, coffee, or other intoxication. Why we were able to do that? Or why you were able to do that? Because bhakti yuktena. Even if we leave bhakti and have so much knowledge, still detachment will not come. We can give 1 hour lecture of no smoking, but go outside and smoke. What is the use of that? So until we do bhakti, the Kapil Dev is saying that only by devotional service, Gyan and Vairagya can be done. That's why the stronger is our devotional service, the easier you can leave all the nonsense activity. Easier you can leave. So if some bad activity, some bad habit, we are not able to control in our life, right, because of past anarthas, then what we need to do? Not forcefully leaving that, but just increase our sadhana, devotional service. When the sadhana will increase, it will develop the taste. Like somebody who's fond of drinking alcohol, if every day he take Charnamrit from the temple, 3-4 times at least, if we take Charnamrit, gradually the taste of any intoxication will go away. So that's the power of Bhakti Yuktena. And then you can see yourself in the right perspective. Then you become indifferent, udasinam, indifferent to material existence. Now, indifferent to material existence does not mean that you become parasite. No, it does not mean that you don't do your duty. Just ignore your material duties. No, you will still do your duties, but you will not attach to those things. If any bad news will not move you, because you know The bad or good news, both are bad, right? In a jail, prisoner, he gets some news that, hey, today you are getting some nice dish. What he will do? He'll take nice dish for some time, again become unhappy. Rather, he's waiting for a news when he will go out outside the jail. That is the good news he's waiting for. All other news are just nonsense, actually. So he can become indifferent, and then material influence act less powerfully. Then all the material influence will be there, right? Hat ojasam, prakritim cha hat ojasam. Now, how hat ojasam? So if a beautiful girl sit beside us, we get attracted, right? Naturally. But if a TB patient sit beside her, will you get attracted? No. This Maya become like a TB patient. That you will not experience that power like Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur got tested, right? That Maya ji came as a beautiful woman to test that. But Haridas Thakur was able to overcome. Because why? Why he was able to overcome? Prakritim sa hat ojasam. No influence. Not even 1% in Haridas Thakur was feeling. Rather than he continued his chanting, the rather he converted that prostitute into the devotee. Of course, we are not there yet. But process is potent. And there are examples that Jnana Vairagya Yuktena, Bhakti Yuktena. When the Bhakti Yuktena and when our chit is full of bhakti, when heart is filled with devotion, then automatically devotional tear will manifest in your eyes. Provided your heart is filled with bhakti, then devotional tear will come in your eyes automatically. Whenever you talk about Krishna, whenever you see Krishna, whenever you see a pure devotee of Krishna, whenever you feel separation, automatically the devotional tear will come out because your heart is filled with bhakti. When heart is empty, then no emotion. Because this is a Nitya Sambandh. We have a Nitya Sambandh with the Lord. So the next, what Kapil Dev is saying, Na yujyamanaya bhaktya bhagavati akhilatmani sadarshyosti siva pantha yoginam brahma siddhaye. Perfection in self-realization cannot be attained by any kind of yogi unless he engages the devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For that is the only auspicious path. Yoginam brahma siddhaye. Whatever activities we do, whatever Bikram Hot Yoga, Loveland Yoga, so many yogas, studios are there, right? Whatever activity we do, unless we come to the devotional service, which is the only auspicious path, self-realization will not manifest. And the main mode of worship, that's why I was telling in Sunday school to children that Krite Dhayato Vishnum Tretayam Yajito Makai Dwapare Paricharyayam Kalau Tad Hari Kirtana. In Satyuga, the main mode of worship was meditation on Lord Vishnu. Treta Yuga, fire sacrifice. Dwapar Yuga, elaborate big temple worship. And in Kali Yuga, nothing will work except the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. That is the only mode of worship. Whatever other activity we do, the main activity is chanting the name of the Lord. This devotional service that start with the better chanting we do in the morning, the better other devotional service we will do. If we are struggling in some other devotional service, that means our chanting is not doing properly. That is the root cause. If unattentive chanting we are doing, our other service will also get impacted. You will see, you will struggle sometime. We may be doing 5 years the same service, but if that day chanting is not done properly, you will make mistake, right? Otherwise, why will make mistake after 5 years of doing? Why still making? Why? Because when sadhana is not proper, and when morning sadhana is we are done proper, then whatever other devotional service you do, it manifests very nicely, very nicely. See, if you do chanting properly, when you then after that you go in kitchen and cook, you see prasadam was made very nicely. There was no scarcity of salt, no scarcity of spices. Everything will come out nicely. Otherwise, we will struggle in our other devotional service. So this self-realization, the only thing is devotional service of the Lord. That is the only auspicious path. Then next it says, Prasangam majaram pasham atmana kavayo vidhu saeva sadhu so shukruto mokshadwaram apavratam. Every learned man knows very well that attachment for the material is the greatest entanglement of the spirit soul. But that same attachment, when applied to the self-realized devotees, open the door for liberation. Now here is a formula Kapil Dev is giving prasangam majaram pasham. That strong sense of attachment is the root cause of entanglement. What is the root cause of entanglement to this material world? Strong sense of attachment. Prasangam majaram. That attachment, our heart attachment to this material world, that is the greatest entanglement for spirit soul. Because now people will say, all right, Prabhuji, that if the attachment is the root cause, then how to reverse? Detach. No, we don't have a detachment. What? Please don't joke. If we have to come out of attachment, then detachment is the only way. Yeah, but we don't have detachment. How? You know, if you churn Pacific Ocean, can after churning, can somebody give me half kg of sugar out of that churning? Churning of Pacific Ocean, can somebody give me half kg of sugar? No, they cannot give. Why, sir? No, because the nature of the ocean is salty. Yes. Similarly, in us, our nature is attachment. Even if we have a dog, we will get attached. And if dog leaves, then we'll get lament. Oh, I was throwing biscuit to the dog. He was so nice. Right. That's why, one Saturday morning, somebody, after hearty breakfast, somebody rang the bell and they came from church, some John and Peter. And I was telling that, first of all, I would like to congratulate and thank you for whatever you're doing. He said, why? I said, because in this age, people only talk about dog. Nobody want to talk about God. But you are here in the Saturday morning, you going door to door talking about the God, right? So your services are so appreciable because you are talking about God on Saturday morning. Usually Friday, people drink, late sleep, late wake up. And Saturday morning, you're going door to door with the Bible in your hand and educating, inviting people to the church. So your activities are glorious. You have been chosen by the God. You are the selective one because you talk about God. So this attachment what we have to this material world, until we have only attachment, we don't have detachment. So this attachment to this material world, same degree of attachment, same degree of attachment what we have to this material world. What we need to do is same attachment we have to divert towards a devotee of the Lord, self-realized devotee. Saeva sadhu shukruto. Saeva sadhu shukruto moksha dwaram apavrat. The same attachment we have, we if we have to just dovetail, we have to just divert that attention towards a sadhu, self-realized devotee. Then door for liberation will open. You, if you start missing a self-realized devotee in your life, then you know that your heart is now getting dovetailed from material to other. That's why, in Krishna consciousness, it is said that unless this person develops 60% distaste towards material life, unless a person develops 60% distaste towards a material life, this philosophy will not appeal to him. At least 60% distaste. And that is why, even after coming to Krishna consciousness, even after getting initiation, still people will complain how to balance material and spiritual life, how to get materially opulent and also at the same time continue Krishna consciousness. All those questions come. Why? Because we have still not convinced about this material life's nature. That's why in Bhagavatam class, when Mataji was asking that, Prabhuji, we do Krishna service, but still misery comes. And that time our faith shakes. Yeah, because when we are want to attach to Krishna and we still remain our heart attached to this material world, that time misery is required. There is a purpose. Because Krishna, for Krishna, you are dear to Krishna. And when any devotee is dear to Krishna, and Krishna knows that this material attachment is an impediment for this devotee to come to me, then he gives little misery so that see the real face of this material world. It's not like Krishna is taking revenge. Hey, why you are going away? Here is a revenge. No, rather he's kind enough to give a problem so that you see the real face of this material world. That's why we say that hate the sin, not the sinner. So do not think that any person who's troubling in your life, oh, that person is troubling. No, no, that is the real nature of this material world. Do not develop a bad feeling for a person. If any person says something bad to you, do not develop bad feeling. But rather you develop a bad feeling towards the material nature, because you know this material nature, that is the nature of this one. And whenever any problem comes, we are devotee is not orphan. Krishna take care of that. Krishna take care of that. That's why he tells to Arjuna that go on the top of the mountain and say loudly. Arjun say what to say. No, say it loudly. No, but tell me what to say. No, name bhakta pranashyati. That my devotee never perish. So this attachment we have to do towards a sadhu. And what is the duty of a sadhu? The duty of a sadhu is to speak about Krishna, to take you closer to Krishna, the self-realized devotee. The same attachment we have to dovetail. Same attachment. Saveva sadhu shukunto moksha dwaram apavratam. The door for liberation will get open. Sir, if I don't do this activity and my heart remain attached to my family, relatives, friends, and all other material things, then nark dwaram apavratam. Then door for hell will be wide open. So choice is us, whether nark dwaram apavratam or moksha dwaram apavratam. Self-realized devotee, whether he's a Shiksha Guru or Diksha Guru, he will play this role. He will play this role. And your attachment should be to that self-realized devotee who has seen the truth. That's why we go back to the altar, right? When we start our devotional service, back of the altar, they say, right, that the learned devotees who has seen the truth, they will show you, they will reveal the truth because they have seen the truth. They can see Lord Vishnu everywhere, anytime. Without Lord Vishnu, what is do you we see here? What we see from our eyes that can anything exist without Lord Vishnu or Krishna? So every day actually you're seeing, but we ignore. So this is very good. Prasanga ajaram pasham atmana kaviyo vidu. Saeva sadhu shukruto moksha dwaram apavrat. Then we talked about self-realized devotee. But what is the symptom of that devotee? Question arises. Because in the red clothes, so many devotees are there. In the, if you social media we open, right? Or bhakti channel we open, so many people we see. Who's the self-realized devotee? That Kapil Dev is saying. Because Devuti ji was intelligent woman. She asked how to identify a self-realized devotee. Then this is what he says. Titikshava karunikaha सुहृद सर्वदेहिनां अजात शत्रवा शांता sadhava sadhu bhushana. He said that the first quality is titikshava. He's tolerant. Even if somebody insult that devotee, still he will tolerate. Even if somebody defame that devotee, still he will tolerate. And why he's tolerant? Because he's karunikaha. Because they are merciful. The self-realized devotee even get insulted. He is merciful. Because he is karunika. He is compassionate. He can see the pain. He can see that the other person is making mistake in a arrogance. That sometime one devotee was arrogantly asking question to Maharaj, and then Maharaj was still patiently replying. That devotee say, Maharaj, why you are replying this person? This person is nonsense. He's just asking for the sake of question. The Maharaj says, that's okay. Let him ask. Because often ignorant persons are arrogant. So because that devotee is karunikaha, that's why he's titikshava. Because he's compassionate, merciful, that's why he's tolerant. And how this quality come? Because surhad sarva dehina. Because he's friend to all living entities. Because he's friend to all living entities, he's compassionate. Because he's compassionate, he's tolerant. And because of that, ajata shatravaha, because he has no enemies. He considers everybody as friend. And Prahlad Maharaj says to Hiranyakashipu that apart from your mind, actually nobody is your enemy. We think that, no, he's my enemy. He's not allowing me to do the devotional service. He's my enemy in my office. No, nobody is your enemy. Actually, nobody is your enemy. Your mind is your greatest enemy. That's why in college station, when I was doing the session, I asked the students, is your mind your friend or enemy? Right? That is the enemy is within us. But that self-realized devotee, because he's ajat shatru, right? He has no enemy. That's why shantaha, he is peaceful. And sadhavaha, because he operate himself according to the scripture. He is not whimsically operating himself. The self-realized devotee operate himself according to the laws of scripture. He studies scripture, he understands scripture, he realized scripture, he implement. That's why, when we eat, is that activity of eating complete? No. After we put the food in the mouth, then we chew. It is said that at least 32 times we have to chew each morsel we take in our mouth. Then it goes into stomach, then get digested, and then we get nourishment. So this knowledge is also, scripture knowledge is like that. People think that Prabhuji, I'm hearing Bhagavatam for 20 years. No, Hearing is just putting the mouth, putting the food in your mouth. But after that, after the Bhagavatam class finish, we have to chew. We have to meditate on that. That what did we hear? Can I apply this in my, how can I apply in my life? Then they get digested, and then you get nourishment. That's why a self-realized devotee never speaks from brain. He speaks from his heart. That's why in our childhood, people, teachers or parents say, hey, learn your lesson by heart. Why this saying, learn by heart? They never say, hey, learn by brain, right? Because when knowledge in the brain get crystallized and come to the heart, then you speak from your heart. And self-realized devotee, they speak from their heart because they digested that knowledge in the scripture. And those are his quality. Those 6 qualities are sadhu bhushana. He's tolerant, he's merciful, he's friend to all the living entities, he has no enemy, he's peaceful, and he operates himself according to scripture. So that is the characteristic of that. The next, Maya ananya bhavena bhaktin kurvanti ye dhadam matkrite tyakta karmanas tyakta swajana bandhava. Now there is extra point Kapil Dev is giving. Now these 6 qualities sometimes Jnani and Yogi may also have. Now there is extra point Kapil Dev is giving, that such a sadhu engage in staunch devotional service to the Lord without deviation. That those 6 qualities they have, that sadhu is also engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. And for the sake of the Lord, he renounces all other connections, such as family relationship, friendly acquaintance within the world. Now, after hearing this shloka, we'll say, oh, Prabhuji, so now we can leave our family, we can go to Himalayas. No, that's another type of nonsense. Don't get attached. You have to perform your duty, but don't get attached. You need to be affectionate. Without affection, human society is animal society. You have to show affection to your children. You have to show affection to your wife. You have to show affection to your brothers and sisters. But not get attached to that. That is only possible when we know who we are, when we know what is the goal of human life, when we know who are these brothers and sisters, what is my actual relationship with them. We have two kind of relationship. We have vertical relationship with the Lord, and we have a horizontal relationship with all the living entities, because they are also part and parcel. We should see in our wife, children, relatives, brothers, sisters, Lord Vishnu inside them. That's why when some devotee comes, we bow down. Why we bow down? Not to the body, because we see Lord Vishnu is inside. So we have to be friendly. We have to be respectful. We have to be affectionate. But at the same time, not attached. Overly attachment. Because when you are attached with somebody, you don't see any flaw in that. And you promote his flaws. That's why a real well-wisher is that who will point out your flaws and advise you. That's why Guru is somebody who has more faith in you than yourself. So this extra point Kapil Dev is giving, that 6 quality and a self-realized devotee, he is engaged in devotional service, and for sake of the Lord, he can renounce that attachment to the family affairs. Attachment, not the family. That's why gopis whole day, they were doing all the duties in their home, but their heart was still attached to Krishna. They were performing nicely all the duties, Rather, any any girl who's in love, she performs all the duty more diligently at home. Why? So that nobody notices that her heart is attached to some lover. So like that, we have to do in in our household activity, in this material world with the boss and everything, but remain attached to Krishna. Because when you remain attached to Krishna, then only actually you can show the real affection towards your family, friends. Otherwise, that affection is useless. You are just using your family. Because once you know they are also part and parcel, then you can show the path of Vaikuntha to them. Then you can engage them in Lord service. That's why it says that a man and woman should not marry. But we are all get married. No, but Rishabh Dev is saying man and woman should not marry unless husband, unless if husband does not show the path of Vaikuntha to his wife, it's better he should not get married. Then another line he says, man and woman should not produce children. But we all produce children. No, what it means that we mean to say is a man and woman should not produce children if they don't show the path of Vaikuntha to their children. So there is a duty. There is a householder life is a very, 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 very responsible life. Each action is responsible. And householders are very dear to Krishna. Because with so much struggle also their householders do bhakti. That's why they are very dear to Krishna. Because Krishna himself is a householder. Right? Krishna is a family man. So, but this is extra point Kapil Dev is giving. Then Madashreya Kathamrishta Shinvanti Kathayanti cha tapanti vividhastapa netanmadgata chetasa. Engage constantly in chanting and hearing about me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The sadhus do not suffer from material miseries because they are always filled with the thought of my pastime and activity. And how they were able to do? This is the formula. Self-realized devotees, they have 6 qualities. They have the extra point, Madhyashreya Katham Nishta. Because constantly they talk about Krishna. They chant Krishna's name. Shinvanti Kathyanti cha. And by which they can overcome these material miseries. That's why a true Krishna conscious person will always be happy. Somebody asked to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, devotees are telling that even they are doing devotional service, still they are not happy. Then what Prabhupada says? No, then he is not a devotee. Then he is not a devotee yet. A devotee is somebody who's always happy, who will always happy. So if we, after doing devotions, we are not happy, that means we are not achieved that status of a devotee. We are practicing devotee. Like me. I'm a practicing devotee. I know that I have not achieved that. So, but by this activity, engaging, by talking about Krishna, by hearing about Krishna, we can, because the mind will be always filled with the thought of Krishna's words, Krishna's pastime, Krishna's activity. Then next, Satam prasangamam viryo samvido bhagavanti hrit karna rasayana katha तज्जोत्स्नाद् असव अपवर्गवर्त्मनि श्रद्धारतिर्भक्ति अनुक्रमिष्यति. In association of pure devotees, discussion of the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and heart. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation, and thereafter he is freed and his attraction becomes fixed. The real devotion and devotional service begin. Then the real devotion and devotional service begin. So all this is possible when in association of pure devotees. When in association of self-realized devotees, we discuss these pastimes, right, which is very pleasing to our heart, karn, rasayana, right, to ear and heart. It is very pleasing. And by cultivating such knowledge, then we can progress on the path of bhakti. And then the door of liberation will get open. We'll be free. Our attraction to Krishna will be fixed. Nishtha. Right? Then Shraddha, Ratir, Bhakti. Start with Shraddha. Then Rati, attachment. Bhaktir, Anukrameshyati. The real devotion begin, which will open gradually your door for liberation. So this is Kapil Dev's message in some around 12 to 13 verses. This is a package Kapil Dev has given for door for liberation. So now we'll stop here. Apologies, I got a little few minutes over, 6 minutes over. But if anybody has any question, correction, chastisement, or anybody would like to share any realization.
Amazing, Hare Krishna Prabhu, amazing narration and amazing examples that helps in real life. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah, very nice class.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you very much for very good class, Prabhuji. What is the difference between the attachment and liking?
So Mataji, before we attach to somebody, liking is the first step. We like somebody, then only we get attached. If we don't like, then we'll not get attached. So as to do any activity, just like desire is the first step, right? That first you have to desire to, if some activity we wanted to do, right? Some achievement we wanted to achieve, some milestone we want to achieve, they should be some first desire comes. Similarly, liking is something that anything comes on your way, you like first. Then you wanted to know that thing or person more. And after knowing that, then you get attached. So just like, Krishna, right? Initially, Krishna is attractive. So everybody like, oh yeah, it's beautiful. So it's liking. But as we go closer to Krishna, right? Hear his name, hear his kirtan, take his prasadam, right? Like Sunday feast, somebody comes, oh, I like the Sunday feast. Oh, what do you like? No, I like the prasadam, I like the crowd, I like that. But he's still not attached because he's not regular. But gradually, when he continued this, right, he start liking. First he liked, then he start more liking, then more liking. Then liking develops and then gradually convert into attachment.
No,
Does this help?
I know my question is related to, I hope I'm not taking too much time, Prabhuji. People have, devotees have to leave.
Yeah, go ahead, Madam.
So, yeah, attachment, we talk about the attachment for the family members.
Yes.
So what is the definition? What is the parameter of that, that we call it attachment?
So, Mataji, attachment is bad, affection is good. Because attachment, why attachment is bad? Because attachment is like Dhritarashtra, right? Dhritarashtra was attached to Duryodhana. Okay. That's why he never chastised his son. He always praised his son. Yeah, you are good, you are good. But in affection, you chastise also. So that's why parents not only always praise the children and never chastise. If let's say any parent who never chastise their children, always praise, the child will get spoiled. So this chastisement also required. And that is also for a purpose. And that's why Srila Prabhupada's father, he also chastised Srila Prabhupada in childhood. He said, and he asked for forgiveness that please, I have to chastise you, but because this is my duty, because otherwise you will get spoiled. So attachment is bad, but affection is good. We should be affectionate towards our family member, relatives, friend, right? Whoever our near dear one. So, which means that not only you praise them when they do good activity, but when they do bad activity, or if they don't do good activity, at that time you have to guide them. Not necessarily you have to chastise, but if but at least you should guide them, right? Otherwise they will go derail into that. So that's the difference, that attachment is bad but affection is good.
Okay, that's good. Very good, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Okay.
Anybody has any other question? Devotees, those who have to leave, they can leave. But if somebody I wanted to ask question, I have few more minutes. Or anybody would like to share any realization which can benefit other devotees, or any correction which I said. If I might have made some mistake, so please forgive me, but feel free to correct so that I can improve. Okay, so if there is no other question, then we can wrap up. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity and hearing me. वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधु भैवच पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय. All glories to assembled devotees. All
Hare
glories.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.